All right, so the first step is we are pumping out the power steering fluid out of the pump because we obviously need to get that drained out. We're gonna pump this out and then we're gonna start taking things apart to get this power steering pump out. All right, so this is the new power steering pump here that we're putting on the Paperweight Duramax. This is from PSC. The part number is right here. Not much to show you guys though, to be honest with you. Yeah, I guess we'll go ahead, show you how to take the old one out and put the new one in. All right, so and the first thing I want to talk about is we actually are replacing one of these lines. It is this line on this side of the Hydroboost here that comes down and goes down into there. We're gonna replace it because it's kind of leaking a little bit and it's a lot easier. This one you have to pull this one out anyways because it's kind of a pain to get this whole assembly out with just leaving this in here, so you have to pull it out anyway. So we figured, you know what, let's order a new one and get this replaced. All right, so the first thing we gotta do here is we gotta go ahead and take the Serpentine belt off so we can get this, start getting this power steering power steering pump taken out. We're gonna go ahead and take this off. It's a 1/2-inch breaker bar on your tensioner over there. Hey. The next step is we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the batteries because we need to open this up here, open that up there, and we're gonna disconnect this bolt here, and we're gonna take this bracket off right here, and we're gonna take the bracket away, and we're gonna let this sit aside. And the reason why we are disconnecting the batteries is because this is the positive side, and we don't want this to short out on anything while we're taking anything out. So we're just gonna go ahead and take the 8mm, disconnect the batteries, so that way you don't have any of those issues, and then we can go ahead. You gotta there are 3 bolts down here, 1, 2, 3. And then there's gonna be 2 bolts on the back side here, which we'll show you when we get to that point. Now, like I said, we did previously drain this. You wanna make sure you drain as much out as you can. If you wanna save it, you can save it and put it in a nice clean bottle, but we just picked up some, what is it? Yeah, we just picked up some Prestone power steering fluid, and we'll add more into it when we need to. But now that we got those batteries disconnected, we'll move that bracket out of the way and take those hoses off. All right, so that nut there is a 17mm. Oh boy. All right, and then the bolt for the bracket is a 10mm. And let's go ahead and set this down somewhere where you're not gonna lose it. Yeah. Yep, right there. That is the first holes we're gonna take off. Just use a nice angle, long needle nose pliers, and probably a flat blade screwdriver at the same time, and just pry that off. Yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna go that way.
Yeah. I got it off now. I had to get my hands on in there. I got a little bit smaller hands than Eric does. But anyways, now I'll just kind of leave this aside. And now what we need to do is there's another one, the top one here, right here. We're gonna go ahead and take this one off, and then we can get at these 3 bolts. A little tip here is when you trying to take rubber hoses off, grab the hose and kind of spin it like this and twist it to make sure you break the connection of the hose, and then go ahead and pull it off. There we go. All right, so now we got that one off. We're gonna set this one aside as well, just like that. Next, we're gonna take this one off right here. We're gonna take this off because it goes directly to the back of the pump, and I'll explain it a little bit as to why you need to take that line off, the high pressure line, with the pump instead of, you're not gonna be able to reach it with the pump in. So just keep that in mind. We're gonna go ahead and take that off now, and then we'll get to these 3 bolts here in a second. And that is gonna be an 18mm. Ooh. All right, now that that's disconnected, we can get to our bolts. By the way, these are a 15mm, just to let you guys know. 1, 2, 3. All right, so now we've got to there are 2 bolts in here. There's one back behind here, and then there's one directly below it as well. It's hard to see. You're gonna kind of have to just feel for it. Once we get the power steering pump out, I'll show you exactly where those bolts are. So yeah, that's next. This is also, these bolts right here are also a 15mm, so keep that in mind. By the way, we are now using a Icon 90 tooth low profile ratchet for this job. We are big fans of this ratchet. It is a very nice ratchet. The teeth are really nice. I cannot complain. I think they're on sale right now, Eric said. Highly suggested. Two. Dropped bolt.
Don't you dare.
All right, so now that we got it all unbolted and everything, now you just kind of got to finagle this thing on out of here. Probably the best bet is going to be to just fold the line over, bring it up, and out comes the pump.
This thing's heavier than it looks.
I told you. That's what I thought when I grabbed the one out of the package. That thing was heavier than I thought. Yeah.
Wow, my back.
All right, so I want to quickly say something here. This is why you can't get at this high pressure line, because this is how this high pressure line is back, and it's routed directly on the back of the power steering pump. As you can see here on the new one, it'll go right here. So keep that in mind. That's why you have to pull this high pressure line out with the pump. So if you are not replacing this line, you then take this off and put it on your new one. But if you are replacing this line, don't worry about it. And this bracket here, this is the bracket for mounting the power steering pump and that battery bracket. You're gonna need to take this off and put this on the new one. Oh, that's bright. All right, so we now have to run into town, get the proper pulley tool. I'll show you guys the part number on the pulley tool of what we're renting and everything like that. We're just gonna head to O'Reilly's right down the road here, and hopefully they have it, otherwise we'll have to run to a different store. Here is the toolkit that we got from O'Reilly's. This is the number, if you can see that. That is the brand. I will say it costed $40 to rent, but you'll return it and you'll get your money back, so it's a free rental. This is actually a brand new one that nobody's ever used, so it's really nice. But if you don't want to rent it, there's a Maddox Harbor Freight one for the same exact cost that it costs to rent it. It's $42, but again, you don't get your $42 back from Harbor Freight because you're buying it, versus this is free. Just like that. Slide her in, and boom, you can get it going. Beautiful. Pretty simple, but anyways, now we gotta take these bolts off of here to get this bracket off, and we'll put that on the new one, and that is probably, I would go ahead and assume, maybe another 15 millimeter?
Yep.
Sure enough, 15 millimeter. Now install it back on the new one.
Using your old hardware.
Using good call. Good call. Look at you getting a lookout. Now I'm sure there's some type of torque spec on here. Yeah, that's good. Grab that bottom bracket too.
There's definitely a torque spec, and I'm sure somebody cares about it.
Yeah, so there's someone out there that's gonna fry me, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, or even on YouTube here.
Somebody is definitely gonna be like, if that backs off, it's gonna shred your pulley all the fuck.
All right, so now we're gonna go ahead, put the pulley back on, and install the pulley with the pulley installer, because it's a removal and an installer kit. So yeah, and also I didn't mention it, but this isn't a Kroil sponsored video, but we still sprayed a little Kroil on the pulley to get it help removed. And I also put a little Kroil on top on the new shaft where the pulley's gonna go to help it slide in there for some lubrication. All right, to reinstall it, we put the pump back on the vise. We've got the pump attached to the vise with the bracket. Obviously you don't want to attach it with the whatchamacallit. This is the tool, the part of the tool that we're gonna use to install it. All right, so this is where it's gonna get fun. You gotta do this all by hand. Bring it around town.
Bring it around town.
Bring it around town. Let's SpongeBob episode, and then you do this, then you do that, then you do this. You ever seen that episode?
I have not.
You don't watch SpongeBob?
I do not. I did not as a kid either.
What? Not a big SpongeBob guy, huh? So you don't understand the SpongeBob memes and SpongeBob references?
No, I was seeing SpongeBob. I just didn't watch a lot of it.
You're not an avid fan?
No, I'm not. I'm not a huge SpongeBob fan.
Don't tell my wife that.
No?
Oh, I'd give you a curse.
She want to hang out with us anymore?
Oh yeah, she's a big SpongeBob fan. She references it all the time.
Does she?
At the young age of 26.
Oh, it's definitely more of like a Teen Titans.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, dude. Thing is, how do you know?
Did you ever watch the... Oh, there it is. Now she's tight.
Yep.
That was it right there. That was the money shot.
That's beautiful.
That is perfect, you guys.
15 mil too.
No.
Finally, somebody engineered something intelligently.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
Everything in this whole process has been a 15 mil.
I never thought I would say this, but I would thank that engineer. If I ever met the guy that's like, dude, yeah, I built the steering system, I'd be like, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for being a normal human being.
All right, so this is gonna be a 15 millimeter for this guy. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and get this routed back in. Oh, you got me?
I got you.
Oh, thank you.
That's what I'm here for, man.
There we go. Kind of. I kept sliding back on the stool.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get this bolt in. And man, that was...
Not working out?
Dude, not at all. Just, it was terrible. All right, now we got that in. All right, so basically all you're gonna do now is you're gonna reverse the process here. I don't know if you can see me or not. I kind of got the camera angle down. I put one bolt on the front here. I put one, we got the light on now. So we get better light for you guys. But I put the one bolt on the front here to get it on. Now I'm putting these two back bolts on here. And then I'll get the other three bolts on and that'll be it. All right, so now that we got the bolts all back in, it all bolted back together. Now we are going to reconnect our two hoses. There's the top one and the bottom one. There we go. Got those hoses put back together. We have the high pressure hose hooked back up. Again, this was an 18 millimeter, so keep that in mind. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the battery block, the bracket back in place. Put the belt back on to the pulley and make sure that your belt is run all the same ways before you start the chuck up because you don't want to hurt anything. Also, before you do anything else, before you start any chuck up, before you start to bleed the system, you need to fill the new power steering pump up because you do not want to run it dry. All right, so the bracket bolt for the battery cable is a 10 millimeter. And then the nut on the inside to put the batteries back, the battery wires, Jesus, battery bracket, battery bolt, battery wires back together in the little housing there, that is gonna be a 17 millimeter. All right, so the power steering that we're using, this is the Prestone power steering fluid. The new pump, you don't wanna use full synthetic, so keep that in mind. This is not full synthetic power steering fluid, so that's really all that matters. The PSC recommends two fluid brands. One's AC Delco and the other one I've never used before, but this is what the parts store had. This is what we're gonna use. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead. We got the belt tensioner. We got the belt put back together and put tension back on it. We're gonna fill this up real quickly, attach our batteries, start the truck up, and start bleeding the air out of the system, which there will be some air, but it won't be too bad.
You have to watch cartoons with your kids and they're not gonna have anything to keep you entertained. They already don't.
Yeah. How many people do you think don't understand that that's how you're supposed to pour those bottles?
Probably a lot.
All right, so we got everything put, we got the system flushed out. It really didn't take much, maybe one, it took, say the pump took about one jug and then maybe half, not even, maybe another quarter jug to bleed out the air, and the bubbles came up in the reservoir and I could see that. So Everything was good. I will link below how we bleed our power steering and how you flush it. I did a video on that, so I'll link that video below for you guys. I'm sorry I did not do any intro, but please make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, please hit that bell button so you get those notifications. This was a good little project. It's a very, very, very high quality pump. I will put that pump in, I will link that below for you guys as well as the high pressure power steering line that we replaced. That'll get linked below for you guys also. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I kind of just dove right into it. I didn't do any intro. I didn't do any real big talking. Really just dove into it, got the job done, got it taken care of. It's 5 total bolts. You've got your belt. Take your belt off, take your hoses off, take it apart, take the pulley off, put the new pulley on, put the 5 bolts back in, put it all back together, and it's really not that hard. So definitely something you guys can tackle. So make sure you guys stay tuned for Thursday's video at 8 o'clock is when I'm doing my second video time. That is when we are gonna be doing a thermostat on my truck. Once again, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for hanging with us on this install, and have yourselves a great night.